Hello everyone, I'm Kokila here. Today you're going to have a geography session of the next lesson, natural and man-made disaster. Students, this is very important lesson at this present situation. First of all, I would like to make you understand the definition of disaster. So disaster can be divided into two major categories, that is natural and man-made. Natural means which is happening naturally. Man-made means it's a man-made. Someone intentionally or accidentally, if we do something, then that is called man-made disaster. So finally, what is called the disaster? Disaster meaning is it is an event, or it is a if we are making a human's life or any kind of property in the public, if we are disturbing these things, those events are generally called disaster. Understand? If we do any kind of activity making disturb to a human's life or the property in the public building, or it can be any kind of thing, if the society or a human life is being disturbed by any kind of action, then that is generally called a disaster. Okay, so here this is a introduction and also definition of a disaster given here. A disaster can be defined as sudden accidental event of great magnitude. Magnitude means the value that causes considerable damage to life and property. Life means it can be a human's life or it can be anything or any kind of creature's life. Property means any kind of man-made things. It can be a bridge, dam, road, buildings, anything. So these kind of disaster, it may sometimes it may be a sudden, sometimes it will happen and we will come to know earlier it is going to happen in future. So prior information we will get to know based on our present technological devices. So this disaster, it may be a sudden calamitous event that seriously disturbs the functioning of a community or society, that causes human, material and economic or environmental losses that exceeds the communities. See, this entire paragraph is nothing but if this kind of disaster happens, definitely it will create a lot of a disturbance to our humans regular life, and also a lot of losses whatever we have made of the constructions. If it disturbs, then whatever we have spent amount to construct the building, so everything will be totally collapsed. Everything will be a waste of money, waste of effort, everything. Definitely the country will be facing a lot of deflation, which means lot of economical loss to the particular country wherever the disaster happened. Okay, so now we are moving to see the main reasons of a disaster. So what are the reasons of a disaster, and once if it happens, what will be the result? So students, here it is given principal. It is actually principal, the major. Okay, the major reasons of a disasters: rapid and uncontrolled urbanization. Urbanizations, you know very well, if a people if particular group of people or one single person is moving from the rural to the city region, so lot of population will be keep on increasing in the cities, so that is also a reason to get a disaster. Widespread urban and rural poverty and unawareness. So unawareness, if there is no knowledge of what is happening, then that is also maybe a reason. Mismanagement of natural resources. uh, Whatever the natural resources we are having, we have to use it in the right way. If we are misusing that, then we have to be ready to face the consequences. Faulty infrastructures of a building. So people carelessness at the time of constructing any building. Major fire due to human carelessness. So fire accidents, that definitely the negligence of a human being. and public places in the hospital, malls, cinema halls. So wherever there is a group of people gathering together, so those people, sorry, those buildings should be constructed under a very strict planning. Terrorism leading to explosion. So a lot of terrorism happening nowadays. People, they somehow they are trying to win over the other country by doing war and killing the people unnecessarily, the innocent people. So somehow, so inefficient public policies. So we have to follow the rules and regulations of the government and use the public with a lot of civic sense. Nuclear weapon and gas leaks. So this is also considered as reasons, nuclear weapons and gas leaks. So we are going to discuss everything one by one. Effect of disaster. So once any kind of disaster happens, it may be a natural or it may be a man-made, whatever, generally if any disaster happen, what will be the next thing? Definitely every single human being, they have to face different types of problem like health issues, economical losses of the country, the public property, the society will be suffering a lot based on many aspects. So these all, it should come under a proper, under the surveillance with some prior informations. So these are the things called effects of disaster. So we should get the prior information if any kind of disaster is going to happen earlier, so that at least we can control the most vulnerable things. Okay, so now we are moving to see the types of disaster. So we are here, we are going to have, we are going to discuss three different types of disaster: natural, man-made and hybrid. So what is these each and everything? We will discuss one by one here. The first one is natural disaster. So in the name itself it's mentioned, it's natural. So anything which is not creating by a man-made. So naturally something is happening, some event going to happen in this world to disturb the society and also the human's life, then that is all generally called natural disaster. So that can be under the control only if we have a prior information. At least some losses we can take it under the control. So this kind of natural disaster creates lot of disturbance, and it will create what it will create miscommunication sometime, and it will give a lot of problem to the people to balance our regular life. So human activities play a major role in the frequency and severity of a disaster. So we people also the most important reason for any kind of natural disaster. So what are the factors of our human side? From the human being side, what are the major factors we are putting inside to create any kind of disaster? So that is what we are going to discuss one by one. Mostly all the natural disaster cannot be under control. At least if we get to know the disaster, the natural disaster, at least somehow we can make some arrangements before the disaster to hit the world. At least some prevention we can do it. So what kind of natural disasters are going, I mean, what are the natural disaster we have in this world? Starts from earthquakes, tsunami, flash flood, volcanic eruption, cyclone, floods, drought and tornadoes. So these all are not a man-made thing. It is all happening naturally with some disturbance. If we are creating some disturbance to the nature, then definitely nature will disturb the human being as well. Understand? So here now we are not going to discuss all the types of natural disaster. Few only we are going to discuss, and the first one is earthquake. So most of us would have been experienced this earthquakes in our life at least once in a time. So earthquake means all of a sudden the normal stable earth, if it starts shaking, if there is any kind of vibration happened on the land, then that is only called earthquake. Then that is definitely not a usual thing. This stable the land, it will starts to shaking because of some tectonic plates movements in the lithosphere. Lithosphere means the land masses of the world. If there is any particular disturbance happen to the particular area, the particular tectonic plates, the land region, if it starts shaking, if due to some heavy pressurization applying towards to the particular area, then definitely the vibration will be created, and that particular vibration only generally called earthquake. So that earthquake is nothing but it's a happening along the fault line. What is this fault line? In your previous year, you might have come across folding and faulting of the land. I hope you still remember. So those fault line, that layers, one by one layers on the earth's crust, if there is any disturbance, any kind of pressurization occurred to the particular region, then definitely it will give the output in the name of earthquake. The intensity, so nowadays due to this technological development, so the person called American seismologist called Charles Francis Richter, he was the man who found a seismograph, which means the Richter scale. Okay, so he was the man invented one scale. It's a measurement scale of the earthquake. So to tribute to this man, so the name also, the name of the device also Richter scale. So that shows the intensity of the earthquake. So the powerful vibration or the tremor felt during an earthquake are called the seismic waves. These waves travel outwards in all direction. Some sudden pressure will create under the land, and it will just open up all the crest and everything. It will start like a wave, and it will come out like a uh, full vibration. So the pressure which is created under the land, and it will come out of the land in a different various directions. So that is what generally called an earthquake. So one of the disastrous effect of the earthquake is called a tsunami. So tsunami is nothing but earthquake. If it happened inside sea region, then that is generally called tsunami. So at least you might have seen in the TV channels and all, in India we have faced some tsunami history is there for our India also. We will discuss that. So tsunami is generally it's a Japanese word, and it is called harbor waves. So the waves, if it is a normal height, there is no problem. But continuously, very long and very highest waveform, if it is happening, and if it is crossing its river, if it is crossing its actual limitation, then that is only called a tsunami. The heavy waveform which travels from the interior part of the sea and crossing the limitation of the seashore and going towards to the land region in an enormous way. So this is generally called a tsunami. So here you can see tsunami is a serious waves with a long wavelength and period. Tsunamis are generated by the large impulsive displacement of a seabed. So generally, tsunamis are generated by earthquakes on the sea floor, landslides under water, and volcanic activities. I hope you know one thing. Under the sea also some volcanoes are there. If any volcanoes eruption happen under the sea due to the pressurization, earthquake happens. So these kind of activities makes the disturbance to the sea, and due to the disturbance of the sea interior, it creates a huge amount of waveforms, and very highest wave, very tall waves it will be creating, and those landslides and disturbance inside the sea waves will come to the seashore region, and it will create lot of sea waves. And definitely these kind of sea waves are not uh, good for the people. It will vanish the entire region, seashore regions. So normally the tsunami ranges minimum from 1 meter to maximum of 30 meters in height. 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. So maximum 30 meters in height, I mean 3000 centimeters in height. Can you even imagine? So that much of very tallest wave continuously, if it happens, then you have to understand the intensity of the wave. Definitely it will cross its border, and it will get inside to the residential area, and it will vanish lot of property and human's life. And in India, one of the tsunami thing that happened in India was 26th December 2004 on Boxing Day. So nearly 2,27,000 people died in 12 countries. India was worst hit with about 10,000 people dead. So here these are the things: 9.0 magnitude earthquake in epicenter. Okay, wherever there is a pink color line, so here you can see the coastline severely hit by the tsunami in the year 2004. Okay, now we are moving to the next one. Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. So it is nothing but it is nearby to the Japan, that is off the Pacific coast of Tohoku in Japan. So it is often referred to in Japan as the Great East Japan earthquake. So there was a very severe earthquake happen in this Japan country also. So that is what we are going to discuss. In the Richter scale, it was recorded for 9.0 Richter scale. So which means 70 kilometer east of Oshika Peninsula, this Tohoku, Japan is located, and there this was a very severe, very worst earthquake happened so far in the particular region. And this earthquake triggered a powerful tsunami waves that reached up to height of 40.5 meters. And because of the severe earthquake, it disturbed the sea as well, and it created 40.5 meters of sea waves. Definitely that is only called a tsunami. Maximum, I was telling you in the last page, maximum it would be 30 meters of wave height. But here this is very worst earthquake and very worst tsunami happened in Oshika Peninsula region side. So that was 40.5 meters in height, and that was the most powerful earthquake ever to have hit Japan. And these many people died: 15,883 people died, and 2,537 people were reported missing. So you just imagine, in the residential area, all the sea water comes inside to the residential region. Definitely almost our vehicles and half of the height of the building, everything will be immersed. So because of that, people will will get a chance to miss out from their actual family. So this is what happens. So people will not be knowing where is our family member also. Like that, somehow people will be missing out, and they will be dying also somewhere unknowingly. So following the earthquake, 15-meter tsunami disabled the power supply and cooling of the three Fukushima Daiichi nuclear reactor. So those tsunami, what it happened, it disabled the power supply and cooling the three Fukushima Daiichi nuclear reactor. Nuclear reactor means what? It is the nuclear plant which generates electricity. So these kind of tsunami disabled the power supply, and what happened immediately? So due to the power supply disabled, so the cooling process of this nuclear reactor also failed, and after that, three large core of this nuclear reactor started to melt down, and due to that, lot of electrical generators were taken down, and the three nuclear reactors suffered explosion due to hydrogen gas that built up within their outer containment building after the cooling system failure. So first of all, earthquake happened, then tsunami happened, and due to the severe tsunami effect, some nuclear reactor power supply was disabled. Then due to the power supply disabled, then the continuation, the cooling process in the nuclear reactor stopped, so that due to the excess of heat, the nuclear reactor started to melt down. So it created a huge explosion to the particular region. So here you see residents within a 20-kilometer radius of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear reactor plants were evacuated. So after that, people started realizing there is something wrong going happening in that nuclear reactor. Then people came to that particular region and evacuated those people. Evacuated means changing those people from one location to the other safety location. So these kind of things happened in Japan. So here this is the picture of this natural disaster. This is a natural disaster, and continuously it like a chain link, it hits different types of disaster. First earthquake, tsunami, then nuclear reactor, lot of explosion. So one by one lot of accidents happen next to next. So what are the preventive measures of a earthquake? So earthquake, as I said already, so this is a continuous occurrence of the movement. So under our earth in the lithosphere, lot of movements are happening due to the pressure which we are giving in the outer surface of the earth. Due to our pressurization day by day, our earth's tectonic plates keep on disturbing. So at some moment after some pressurization, so the earth surface, it's not being ready to accept the pressure, so it started to explode. Then finally we are facing this kind of earthquakes. So now here we are going to have some starting points, some safety tips to control the earthquake. So have an earthquake readiness plan. So this is like your, for example I'm telling you, so people are telling you that there is some severe earthquake is going to happen, it is going to hit in this particular location. So what are the things we have to keep in hand? So prevention is better than cure. So before to face the disaster, what are the things we have to keep ready in our hand? So here these are the things. So at the time of constructing of any building, we have to construct the building in a very safety way. If any kind of disaster like earthquake or any other fire accident, if these kind of things going to happen, so how to escape from our building? By consulting with a professional engineers, we have to construct the building accordingly. So keeping the cupboards and keeping the walls very strong like that, and locate a place in each room. So we should have a connectivity with each and every single room due to the time of, at the time of earthquake, how to spot one particular place to escape. So something if it is falling down from the top, and you have to immediately keep yourself in a safe location. So accordingly we have to construct our building, and keep a supply of canned foods. And so as I said, this is upcoming earthquake, so what are the things you have to keep it in your hand? So some amount of water, some dry fruits, some dry food, okay, so some dust mask. So these kind of thing we should keep it in our hand, and definitely some torch lights, these kind of things. And we should know, we should make our small kids in our home to make them to understand how to switch off the gas on and off. This knowledge we have to give them while nurturing. So once this is all the previous points whatever we discussed, that is all prevention measures. But now we are going to discuss if shaking begins. So now earthquake started, okay, so now the land is started shaking. So what we have to do immediately? The immediate point is, wherever you are, suppose you are in any kind of building region, you are there in the hospital or in your own home or in any hospital or malls or anywhere in the world, anywhere in the building, anywhere. So immediately the thing what you have to do is stop being panicking, do not be tensed. Just immediately go and sit under any kind of table, some strong hard table you have to find, and just go under the table and hide yourself. First of all, you have to find out some hard table or cot or table or anything, so you have to hide under that, because your head part is most important part of your entire body. If shaking happens, something will drop down and that will hit your head very badly. So to save your head, first of all you have to sit under some strong wooden thing or some strong table or whatever. Then you can save your head first of all. Suppose if you are traveling inside your car or any vehicle, immediately you have to stop driving your vehicle and be inside your vehicle itself until the things comes to the normal state, okay. And if you are standing near, if you are walking on the road, you are not supposed to find out some open area where there is no trees or any building, find out some open space area and go and assemble there. So these kind of things we have to follow when we are facing the, at the time of earthquake. Okay, fine. And now we are moving to see the next for, natural disaster called flash flood. Flood, which means excess of water. If it is there in the residential region, then that is only generally called flood. Excess of water, how come it will happen? At the time of excess of rainfall. So during the rainy season, excess of rainfall will happen, and those rain water, it will not find the way to move out of the residential region. So that water will stagnate in the residential region itself, and it will be there on the land without finding any drainage region, and it will be staying there itself, so that it will create lot of health issues to the people, and number of problems people should be ready to face. So to control these kind of flash flood, so what and all we should do? So here we are having some examples of our Indian flash flood. So during in the year June 2013, in the North India, the state called Uttarakhand, so there some flash flood happened in the year June 2013. So first of all, glaciers, which means some hard ice solids sheets, that will be there in the mountain regions and all. So those glaciers starts to melt down. Excess of water will not find the drainage way, so it will starts coming inside to the low lying regions. Do you all understand? If the land is like this, here in the land water is there, and here some low lying land is there, so these excess water will come immediately to the low lying areas. Here in the low lying area, if any family is there, then immediately that particular region will have a lot of problem. So this is what happened in the Uttarakhand region also. So all the mountainous side glaciers started to melt down, and excess of rainfall altogether it started mixed together, and it comes down to the low lying areas of the Uttarakhand, and it created a lot of problem to the people who were lived there. So this is called the devastating flash flood and also the landslides. Those excess water makes the land to sloggy state of soil, and it will create a slides. Then it will be very tough for the people to live in the location. So, according to the record of the Uttarakhand government, 5,748 people were missing because of the flash flood, and 1,000 people were reported dead. And apart from that, I hope you must be knowing Kedarnath is one of the famous pilgrimage of our India. So, number of devotees and pilgrims people, they used to go there. So here in the Kedarnath, 70,000 people, they were trapped in various places. So people at the on the way to this Kedarnath, so people started staying there itself. So they were trapped with these many because of the damages of the bridges and roads, because excess of water flood is happening. So there is no proper way to move away from the location. So bridge got damaged, roads got damaged, so that 70,000 of pilgrim people, so they were trapped because of this reason. And many of our Indian Air Force, paramilitary troops, our army, so those people they rescued, which means they saved our people who were visited those Kedarnath pilgrimage. So these floods were caused due to the heavy rainfall in the state of Uttarakhand and adjoining areas, which was about 375 per percent more than the benchmark rainfall. So this is actually how much rainfall it was supposed to rain, more than that. So excess of rainfall happened in that year 2013, so it created excess of rainfall. And apart from that, this Chorabari glacier started to melt down, and in the height of 3,800 meters, an eruption of Mandakini river, which led to heavy flood near Gobindgarh, Kedar Dam and Rudraprayag and Uttarakhand. So these are the nearby rivers and mountain glaciers. Altogether it formed a lot of water flash flood happened. So Uttarakhand and surrounding all regions went under the, I mean, immersed under water. So here you can see the pictures. So the upper Himalayan territories of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand are full of forest and snow-covered mountains, and thus it was inaccessible. And number of solutions we have. So what are the things we have to follow? So here you can see preventive measures during the flash floods. So if you come to know there is a flood is going to hit in this particular location, what the government should do immediately? Okay, so based on the uh, our weather forecasting, there is a heavy rainfall going to happen in this location, so there will be definitely a flood. So immediately people have to escape from the that particular location, and they should save some essential item like a drinking water and some dry food items, and some electrical appliances should be disconnected for completely stop the short circuits, and flooded areas and the creeks should be avoided by the individual. So people should get to know the more updating information through the radio channels and the television channels about the weather. So these are the things we have to keep it in our mind. So following measures must be taken by the state government. So what are the safety methods people should follow during the flood time? So people, they should listen to the government information, like whatever the information is being given by the uh, government regarding the flood. And wet land must be retained to absorb the flood water. Some dry land it should be there, and wetland it should be detained, and deforestation must be prohibited. So deforestation is the removal of the forest region. So forest is a natural resources actually, but nowadays people for their business purpose clearing the forest region for their business, that should be completely prohibited. So thorough research is required before planning any constructions of a dam or any such projects. So if you are planning to construct any kind of buildings in that location, you have to thoroughly check the plan will be executed in this location or not. So we have to consider the history of the particular land. Is that a land to accept the strong building or not? So before, without doing the analysis of the land, we are not supposed to build any kind of constructions.